Yo, 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 what up, everybody? Lisa here. Um, just back again, y'all. Um, I wanted to do some shout outs before I got started. I want to shout out all my White Oak ladies, Ark. Um, I want to shout out my sister. She's not my real sister, but she's like my real sister. Donna. I know she's having a hard time right now, and say a prayer for her. Want to shout out all my friends, Jean, Lexi, Donald, Rob, all the people who are doing the dang thing, staying sober, and all the addicts trying to get sober. Shout out to y'all too. Um, I hope everybody had a good weekend and a good Monday. My Monday was kind of messed up. It was my daughter's birthday. She turned 10. I don't get to see her anymore. I haven't seen her for about 3 years now. So it's kind of rough on me. Kind of didn't deal with it too well. Was kind of in a bad mood all day. Still in a kind of bad mood, but that's how it goes, I guess, right? Got to deal with the consequences for your actions. So how's everybody doing? How's life? We all getting along, doing well, or struggling? What's going on with y'all? Um, Today I was going to talk a little bit about triggers and cravings is what I was thinking about talking about today. I don't really have any cravings anymore. Maybe sometimes when I'm like really depressed, but other than that, no, I don't really have cravings anymore. I know a lot of people do have cravings. I couldn't tell you how to battle that, but just power through it is all I know to say. Because I really never did have cravings that much. But like I said, I was addicted to meth, so it wasn't really. I didn't really crave it. I know with like opiates and other drugs, you do crave it a lot. Honestly, I might have craved it when I was like in jail when I first got put in jail, but it wasn't that long, you know. Maybe within the first week or two I was there, I was good to go. I just, ate, slept, felt better, didn't feel like crap no more. I pretty much slept for 3 4 days straight, coming off of meth. My triggers, people, places, and things. Old people, old places, old things. If I see any drug paraphernalia, definitely trigger. Um, I try to stay away from, reminders of being high, trying to, just keep myself busy, keep myself going, keep everything as closed off around, drugs as I can. Keep myself away from it. Uh, I have ran into some old friends that still use, and they have brought stuff around me, but I just always say, man, I can't hang out with you no more, or I can't be around you no more. You know, can't risk it, can't do that. That's not gonna happen. So I pretty much let them off easy tell them, if you're going to do that, then I can't be your friend, whatever. Um, I I set a plan when I was in rehab, um, that pretty much anytime I would get stressed or start thinking about using or start thinking about drugs, that I would just, listen to music. Music is like my coping mechanism. Like, I'll listen to music and it'll just zone me out, and I'll just focus on the lyrics and the beat. And then before you know it, I don't feel like I want to use. I don't feel like anything like that. So, yeah, that'll help. That helped me. I don't know what your coping mechanism would be, but that helped me a lot. Um, Also, I know a lot of people are struggling with addiction right now. There's quite a few people, quite a few friends. If I could talk, um, quite a few friends that I've had that have passed away due to ODing, or you know, quite a few friends that have pretty much mentally messed themselves up to where they're not the same person anymore. Um, it's really hard watching people go through that and knowing that they were, such a bright person before, and then now their mind is gone, or they, can't do simple tasks and stuff like that, or they always think somebody's out to get them. You know, Dealing with that is really hard because you remember the person they used to be, and not the person they are now. Um, it's kind of like when you have like a grandparent that has like they start getting dementia or Alzheimer's. It's kind of like that. You kind of just see them deteriorate a little bit at a time. Uh, thank God my mind didn't do that, or I didn't. You know, I could have. I definitely could have. I used enough. I used enough drugs that I probably, thank God that I didn't end up like that, or something didn't happen to me like that. But you never know. Well, like when you're on the street buying drugs or whatever, you never know what you're getting, or what's in it. It could be anything. Could be anything in that, you know. And people people put stuff in there that's not good for you, not good at all. I read something the other day. I wrote some things down. I read something the other day on Facebook, and it said drug addiction is like going to a war. You never come back. You either never come back the same, and sometimes you don't come back at all. And that's so true. Um, so true. It kind of made me sit and think, like, yeah, that's pretty much like what it is. Um, I still have my uh, mental mental things going on. Trauma is a link to addiction. So if you have any trauma, any past trauma, any struggles you're going through, it's always going to be, you're going to have to learn to deal with them. You're going to have to learn to get through them. Sometimes it hurts to deal with it. Sometimes face it head on. Like all the stuff you've been numbing by getting high is really hard. Sometimes when you do get sober, I think it hurts more getting sober than it does not getting sober, because you numb all that stuff. You numb the pain, you numb everything, your feelings. Like you get, every addict has their moment when they get to a certain point where they're like, who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, I'm a totally different person. I don't know who I am. I don't know what happened, but this is not me. And I think mine was when I lost my kids, because I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I struggling so hard to do the right thing? Why am I struggling so hard just to get clean and get sober? And for the first little part, I pretty much denied anything, like, oh, oh, I can get off of it if I want to. Oh, I can quit whenever I want. I'm not addicted. I'm not this. I'm not that. Which I was, very much so. Uh, it didn't take long for me to get addicted. Got to where I couldn't get out of bed of a morning. Couldn't Felt like if I didn't have a fix for that next morning, I'm not getting up out of bed. I'm not doing anything. I'm not functioning for that day. Um, some of the some trauma that I had was abusive exes. Um, I've been through a lot. Um, I still have nightmares. I still have, flashbacks. I still have all those things, but it's getting easier to deal with those um, now. It wasn't that easy when I first started learning how to cope without using a substance. Just things, you know, things would get under my skin. I would get stressed out or something. I would just say, I'm going to go use, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do that. And I would always say, well, it helps with my depression. Using drugs helps with my depression. I feel better after I use them. All this stuff. But then in the end, it was like I was numbing everything that I needed to deal with, that I needed to grieve, everything I needed to confront. I was just numbing everything. So when I did get sober, it was really, really hard to face everything head on. And, some of them was like my mom's death, my dad's death, um, losing my kids. I really never grieved over any of those. So when I did get sober, it just hit me in the face like a ton of bricks. Um, and I had to deal with it. I had to face, my consequences for my actions and for just messing up all the time. I know a lot of people a lot of people look at me and say, "Oh, um, it's not your fault you lost your kids. It's not your fault. It's not your fault." Yeah, it's my fault. I pretty much chose drugs over my kids. Even though if I had been totally sober, had clarity, I wouldn't have done that. I would have never chose drugs over my kids if I wasn't addicted. It would have been, screw you, kids first. But after you get into that addiction, man, it'll change the way you look at things, change the way you look at life, um, change the feelings you have. You pretty much turn into somebody that you wasn't before, and you lose yourself. You lose yourself along the way. You lose your morals. You lose you know, your everything. Just your sense of self. Um, but you do have to do like you do have to get right with yourself. You do have to face those things. If you don't face those things, then you're not going to be able to work through it. You're going to go right back to using, or you're going to go right back to doing something else. You're going to replace what you was using with something else. Just like now, I have quit smoking for like 3 weeks now, but I'm dipping and I'm vaping, which is a replacement for the cigarettes. But eventually, I'm gonna get off all of it. It's just right now dealing with my daughter's birthday and everything. I was just like, you know, gotta have my nicotine, I guess. Um, just I just want everybody that comes to this live stream, that watches me on YouTube. I just want everybody to know that I'm being completely 100% honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, this or oh, that, and sugarcoat anything. It's just going to be me talking about how I feel, what I experienced, what I went through. I know my last kid, um, my son, my youngest, I was so worried about going to the hospital to have him. So when I got pregnant, I took a pregnancy test. It said I was pregnant. I didn't go to the hospital one time. I didn't go to the OBGYN. I didn't go for checkups. I didn't go not one time. I did end up buying stuff online, like umbilical cord clamps, stuff like that. And I had him at home. I had him in the trailer that I lived in. I gave birth to him right there in the trailer. Everything went fine. God was watching over me, because Lord knows a lot of things could have went wrong. But yeah, I gave birth to him at home because I didn't want them to take him. And I figured that would be the best way that I could keep him. And I could keep him close to me and they wouldn't be able to take him, because I'd already had my other 2 kids took. And I knew how bad it hurt and how bad it felt. So I tried to take control of the situation, which you're not supposed to do. And I tried to make it to where I could keep him. But eventually somebody called the cops on me. They come down there. They come and checked on him and everything. Everything was fine. They left. Then they came back again. And when they came back the next time, they said that he had to be drug tested, which he ended up having drugs in his system. So they ended up taking him anyway. I think I got to keep him for maybe I think it was like 14 or 15 days. I had custody of him, and then after that, they took him. But I wasn't in my right mind. I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking, how can I do this without losing my kid? So I did it the best way I could, or the best way I thought I could, when really it wasn't a good idea at all. I shouldn't have had him at home. It was dangerous. So many things could have went wrong. Just stupidity on my part, pretty much. Just didn't want to lose another kid. Is pretty much what it was. But yeah, I gave birth to my kid at home. It was an experience. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It was a very beautiful experience if I would have been sober. But I wasn't. But it was still very beautiful to think I still had that fight in me that I could do something like that, without medical medicine, without an epidural, without, pain meds, all that stuff. It was really eye-opening just to me, to be like, oh, wow, I'm strong enough to do this, so surely I'm strong enough to get off drugs. And then after that happened, I got with another abusive boyfriend. Um, and then we ended up going to jail because he tried to sell to a correctional officer. I didn't know he was selling to a correctional officer, obviously, or I would have been like, nope, we ain't doing that. But he waited till we got to the spot where we were supposed to meet him at, and looked at me and said, should I be worried that her Facebook profile says that she's a correctional officer? And I said, you just got us hemmed up bad. And then it wasn't maybe 2 minutes later, they all rolled in, piled up around us. Cops got out, had AR-15s aimed at us. It was, yeah, it was bad. When I got to the jail, I had dents in my skull where he had hit me with his fist multiple times. I ended up having to go to the emergency room from the jail. They ended up telling me that I had several lesions on my brain, and that I needed to go have a brain scan done. So they did a CAT scan, found the lesions. Then they sent me back to jail. I went back to jail. Then maybe a couple months later, the jail took me back to a actual brain doctor. I don't know what the technical term for a brain doctor is. I don't know, but they took me there. They did another CAT scan. They were spots on my brain still. Everything just seemed like everything was going bad for me. Then finally, I started looking at it a different way. I was like, well, it was a good thing that I went to jail. Jail was my savior, because what if he would have hit me again and caused a brain bleed, or things like that. But so I got out of that relationship because we were both in jail. Um, but yeah, jail saved me, I think. And then going to rehab saved me even more. Taught me a lot of valuable things. Taught me how to cope, how to do things the right way, how to form healthy relationships with people, how to set boundaries, how to communicate with people better, and then how to rebuild, family ties, which not all your family is going to want, is going to be like, oh, they're off drugs now, we can, we're going to forgive them or whatever. No, some of them are going to take time. You have to work at it. You have to show them that you're trying, show them that you're actually getting better. It does take some people a little bit longer to come around and actually be like, oh, wait, they've been sober for this long now and they're doing good, and they don't no longer look like, Tales from the Crypt. That, what they call it? I can't think of what it can't think of what it was called. Just drug addiction, beautiful, like skinny as a rail, showing bones, thinking you look good, but you really don't. Um, I know the whole time I was getting high, I thought, wow, I'm losing weight and I'm getting skinnier, and I look good, whatever. I didn't look good at all. Didn't look good at all. It was not the look I wanted. But in my mind, I looked hot. I looked good, you know. But it really wasn't that way. It was I looked sickly. I looked sick. You could see my collarbones. You could see my my ribs. You could see everything. I was like when I went to jail, I was wearing a 00 in pants. I was tiny. Um, and I thought, well, I look good. I look fine. I lost weight, you know. And a lot of people have that mentality. As long as they're losing weight, they look good. But if you look like a skeleton, you don't look good, you know. Like right now, I've been working out. I've been running on the treadmill. I've been walking. I've been doing sit ups and all that stuff, and I look healthy now. So I think I look a whole lot better now than I did then. But back then, I thought I looked like I was the shit. I was I thought I was looking good. Um, but just that mentality, things like that, just things happening like that. The madness. That's why they call it the madness. Going through the madness because you're pretty much your whole perspective on things is just not good, not good at all. Um, I was thinking about trying to live stream more. Um, but I really don't know what y'all want to hear, what you want to talk about. Um, I have a lot of stories of things that happened when I was getting high. A lot of interesting stories. Um, when I was living in my trailer, we had see there was probably about 8 or 9 people coming in and out every day that lived there with me. They would go in and out, and I never locked my door. Just stuff like that. Just that's crazy, like not locking your door and going to sleep and hoping somebody don't come in. It was not the best decision on my part. I used to have to take a logging chain and chain up my refrigerator because people would try to get food out of the refrigerator, and then I wouldn't have any food. So my refrigerator pretty much looked like a demon was gonna come out of it. Um, it had a big logging chain on it, and then a big padlock. Um, and then every time I'd go to get into the refrigerator, somebody would come running out of one of the rooms like, "Oh, can I have a pop?" or "Oh, can I have this?" or "Oh, can I have that?" And I'm like, "No, I got it locked up for a reason." Just crazy stuff like that. Just pure insanity was what it was. Pure insanity. And there's just a lot more that I could tell y'all that you know transpired or whatever. But there's I did a lot of stupid stuff. Let's just say that I did a lot of stupid things that I should have knew better not to do, but I was high, so I didn't really care. Like I would go to find like old abandoned houses, and we would break in them and we'd go take stuff, just just dumb stuff. Like it wasn't even stuff you could actually sell. It was just like, oh, this is cool, or oh, this is cool, and it was just from lack of sleep and being high and being stupid is what it was. There's a certain point where you're just like, what am I doing? Am I just losing my mind or not being able to think straight, things like that are just, you just take a look back and you're just like, why did I do that? What was wrong with me? Um, what mental things did I have going on there? Um, but I just hope you guys, I hope this helps somebody. I hope um I hope I'm not just sitting here talking to myself for no reason. Um I hope you guys enjoy this and not be like, "Oh, she's she's my friend. I went to rehab with her and I have to watch her videos." No. If you don't like them, then you don't have to watch them. I'm just I'm just trying to help people like other people help me. And I really don't know how to do it. I'm not like I didn't go get certified for, substance abuse counseling or nothing like that. I'm just your average, addict, used to be addict, um, that just wanted to share, my story and hoping that somebody would see it and it would help somebody. Um, like I'm really putting myself out here and I don't know if you guys are enjoying it. I don't know if, it's getting to anybody or if it's helping anybody. Um, but I'm going to keep doing it just because if it is helping somebody, then I'm doing a little bit of good in the world instead of all the bad that I did when I was getting high. Um, just trying to live day by day, trying to help others, trying to build my self confidence up too. Um, I know where I've been through so many abusive relationships, my self confidence has went down the crapper. Um, I don't think I'm pretty. I don't think I'm this. I've been told, these things over and over again. You're not pretty. I can find somebody else, whatever. The whole time I was being, in abusive relationships, they were like, "Oh, I can find somebody better. You don't look that good." Blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. And it sticks. It sticks in your head. Um, most part, that's why I've been working out. That's why I've been trying to build my confidence up. Um, been trying to feel better about myself, feel better about my mistakes. The only mistake that I will never feel better about is my kids and losing time with them that I'll never get back. Um, my oldest is 16. My middle child, my daughter, her birthday was yesterday. She's 10. And then my youngest is 5 now. And it feels like I've missed the entirety of their childhood, their life. I still get to talk to my oldest. He's really understanding about it, thank goodness. Um, he's a good kid. He's I mean, he's just the best kid ever. And he really understands and he really tries to, connect with me. Um, he likes to do like animations on YouTube. I'll have to get like his YouTube channel or something and put it in the description or tell you guys. But yeah, he likes to do like animations and he likes to play Roblox, um, which I'm scared to death of Roblox. I think it's nothing but you know bad because there's grown people on there. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what's up. Um, But comment on, because this is going to be a YouTube video after the live stream. Comment on the YouTube video. Let me know what other things you want to talk about, what other things that bother you. Maybe I've been through some of it. Maybe I could help you, maybe not. It just depends, you know. But I'm just trying to build a community of addiction warriors, you know, recovery angels, you know. Just trying to get everybody together so we can support each other. Because a lot of people don't have support. A lot of people don't um, have the luxury of having somebody that's there for them um, during, you know, the worst times, or when they're battling something and then they end up relapsing, or, you know, doing something worse. So I just kind of want to build a community with you guys that's gonna, you know, help each other out, be there for each other, support each other, um, hold each other accountable, um, just be there for each other, you know. And I get that there's gonna be some comments about me having my kid at home or whatever, you know what I mean? Go ahead, say whatever you want to say. If it's mean, if it's hurtful, whatever, I'll deal with it, you know. Um, I've dealt with a lot of things anyway. So the most hurtful comment you can make is not gonna, you know, not gonna destroy me. um, like I said, I've been put down for most of my adult life. My mom and dad never put me down. I never had any trauma with them. It was always with my exes, my boyfriends at the time. Um, that's pretty much where all my trauma came from. Um, Getting choked, you know, hurt. Um, One of my exes pulled my fingernails out. You know, it's just mentally, physically, emotionally, disheartening. Makes you doubt yourself, makes you not be as confident, makes you just want to hide in a corner, and not talk to nobody because you don't trust nobody. You have nightmares, you can't sleep well, you know, just like I can't play video games no more, because every time I play a video game, I would end up getting in a fight with him, you know, my ex, whatever, and then it would end up me getting hurt. Um, but I think the worst part about the abuse wasn't the physical; it was more of the mental, the emotional, mental and emotional abuse was, because it never really heals. It's still there. You know, you can band-aid it up a little bit and learn to deal with it, but it's always going to be there in your mind. It's always going to be there. Um, just like I've been going through the nightmares and all that for like over 5 years now. Um, Probably more like 10 years. Um, and I've just gotten used to it. Kind of, you know, you never get fully used to it, but I've gotten used to it kind of. Um, I always have the same nightmares over and over again. Sometimes I have new ones, but most of the time, for the most part, it's the same ones, the reoccurring ones. Kind of like flashbacks in your sleep. Make you remember things you didn't want to remember. But yeah, I think that's pretty much the worst part is the the mental and emotional toll you take when you're in an abusive relationship. And for some reason, I wanted to take up for him. For some reason, I wanted to take up for him. I wanted to fix him. It's like, oh, I just need to love him more. No, that's not how it works. But in my mind, I thought, yeah, I could love them out of it. You know, maybe they'll learn to love me better. You know, but if they're going to treat you like that, then they don't love you at all. Um, and you just end up hurting yourself. You just end up making yourself look at yourself differently. Um, I know I feel really dumb for putting up with it. But at the time, I thought, well, I can love them out of it. I just need to love them more. They just need more love, or I just need to show them that I'm going to be loyal to them. I just need to show them that I'm going to take up for them. I'm just going to show them, and that don't work. uh, it ended up hurting me to the point where I look at old pictures of me before my exes, and I don't smile the same no more. And I don't. I miss the old me. I miss the me in those pictures before everything happened. Um, and it's pretty bad when you have to grieve yourself. Like that part of me's gone, and this part of me's gone, and I'm probably never going to get it back. Just you have to look at yourself and be like, I miss that part about me, or I miss this part about me, and it's not there no more. It takes of a lot of facing yourself, facing your demons, knowing that you were part of the problem too. It wasn't just don't be the victim, because I mean I can understand some people being victims. Like I was a victim too, but don't blame it. If you stay with them, don't blame it on them, because it's just a bad situation all the way around. Um, Sometimes it takes you going through that just to learn, hey, I just need to get out of here. This is not going to change. Um, how people say, once they show you their true colors, believe it, believe it. Um, for everybody, for all the females out there and all the males too, if they're getting, abused or whatever, just try to get away, because if they're starting off like that, or y'all ain't been together that long and they're starting off like that, or if you all been together forever and it's been like that for a long time, it's not going to change. People don't change. Pretty much the only thing I've seen that makes people change is pain, going through, you know, just mental pain, emotional pain. That changes people quicker than anything. So if somebody shows you that they don't care, um, shows you that it's okay, that they think it's okay to hurt you and then apologize to you later over and over again, um, let go of it. Don't keep holding on to it. Let go of it. It's not worth losing, you know, yourself over, or hurting yourself over. And just do no contact. That's what I had to do with most of my exes. Just drop off contact, block them, get, EPO, whatever you have to do, just to keep yourself intact, because it does take parts. It does take parts of you away that you later will be like, oh, well, I don't act like that no more, or I'm not as happy as I used to be, or I don't go outside no more because I'm scared of people, or don't trust people, which shouldn't trust people anyway. But you have to, get to a certain point where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna try to trust somebody. Just pick them wisely is all I can say, because a lot of people out there that are not worthy of being trusted, and you should be able to tell, because there should be flags, red flags that you'll see, like, nope, not doing that. Not, nope. And I know, like, another thing was too, like, I thought that I had a lot of friends when I was getting high. I thought, oh wow, I got all these friends. And I was an only child. So me being an only child, I didn't have that many friends. I didn't have like brothers and sisters to hang out with. So when somebody was coming over to the house because I had drugs, I'd see it as, oh, well, they like me. Now I have friends. And that was stupid to think also. But yeah, I was going to read a devotion, and then say the serenity prayer, and then I'll probably get off here. I'm trying to think of one day soon where we could just I could just live stream and hang out, and we could listen to music or whatever. Um, I don't know what day that'll be. I might do it Thursday, maybe. Not really sure yet. I'll let y'all know some way. But here's the devotion for today. It's out of this book by I don't know. It don't say. Let me see. Anyway, it's this book. It says, "Comfort limitless. Lord, you know the hopes of the helpless. Surely you will hear their cries and comfort them." Psalm 10:17. There's only so much one woman can do. There are limits to your strength, your time, and your capacity to love others well. When you reach the limit of your own abilities, a feeling of helplessness can set in. But being helpless isn't synonymous with being hopeless. God is near. He hears every prayer, every longing, and every sigh. His power, love, and time are limitless. Cry out in faith when you need the comfort of your Father's love. Now I'm going to say the serenity prayer, and then I guess I'm going to get off here. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today. And I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope you guys fight through whatever you're fighting through and keep working hard to build a better you. And I will see all you beautiful people in the next live stream or next video. Love you guys.